All right, Martin Popoff here, back again with another edition of Reliving Old Reviews is a Useless Tool of Confusion. This is the long series with lots and lots of episodes we've done where we look at a review of an old album and see if the writer got it right, kind of boots on the ground at the time. So we are looking at a review from New Musical Express, January 15th, 1977. It's kind of interesting. So we're into 77, but we are reviewing a 1976 album. We are reviewing the second Kiss album of 1976, which, by the way, you can stop emailing me and messaging me about the recent announcement of a new book of mine called Kiss 76, because it's not out for quite a while. As I'm doing this right now, what is the date here? It's June 19th, 2025, and I think it comes out in early 2026. But yeah, the publisher has announced it, so people are asking me, oh, can I get the book? And it's like, no, you can't. It's a long ways away. So it looks at Kiss's 1976 and everything else that's going around with Kiss in 1976. And this is one of the things that's obviously featured in a big way in that book, the Rock and Roll Over album, the second album for Kiss in 1976. This is a review by Max Bell, like I say, from The Enemy. Let's read and we shall critique. Much against my better nature, I must admit to having had quite a laugh listening to this one. Kiss, however, are positively busting a gut, cramming all the greenies into the numbered vault. So yeah, recognizing, already cynical, recognizing that Kiss is a big band. Considering that they've outlasted hopeful predictions of a hasty demise, parted company with Neil Bogart, Bob Ezrin, and even Kim Fowley, our culture shock heroes just refuse to go away and die. So citing the longevity and the changes going on in the camp here, obviously Rock and Roll Over is a big difference from Destroyer. It's funny, Destroyer now is seen as the greatest Kiss album, generally by consensus, but back then, there was a lot of up and down, a lot of wrinkling of noses at Great Expectations and Beth, and maybe too many sound effects and maybe Flaming Youth. But so they decided to go back to Eddie Kramer and do something a little more roots and raw and back to almost like the I've called this album childish, right? So this is back to it's almost like they're lowering their ambitions a bit to be more like the Kiss of the first three albums, and obviously Kiss Alive at the same time, right? Okay, the recipe for their continuing mammoth success would seem to be keep pumping it out. And that's obviously true because this is the second album of 76. This fanciful little offering was produced by Record Plant resident engineer Eddie Kramer, and he cut his vinyl teeth on Ted Nugent. In terms of quality, sick, and sound, they get on back to their 1974 roots, absolutely displaying a longevity and persistence of commendable tenacity. 2 hit albums, 4 hit singles a year, no wool left to pull over the eyes, and they are still there. Who's fooling who? Yeah, so it's this constant weird dance of how serious is Kiss? What are they serious about? They are serious about making hits. They're serious about going back to their roots, I suppose. They're maybe serious about making money. We're constantly wondering about their motivations. It is, like I say, it's a very different album. It seems like they are purposely and intentionally knowing that they're kind of lowering the intelligence level on what they're doing here. But again, we are at that platonic ideal, that abstract, that magical thing of what is a good song, what is a hit song, what deserves to be a hit song, what song connects with people, right? Soon it'll be time for Kiss to fall into the so bad it's nearly good category. And most of the ditties herein fully deserve that compliment. Take Mr. Speed and Calling Dr. Love, for instance. Admirable pastiches of Kiss doing Frank Zappa doing Kiss. It's kind of weird. I think he just means toilet humor more than anything. He obviously doesn't mean, this is not Peaches on Regalia or anything, right? The riffs are choice, stolen from the Stones, the Faces, a couple of obligatory originals. It will pass. This is why I like doing these shows, these reliving old reviews. What can these writers compare to? And in the modern era, you would never think to compare what Kiss is doing to the Stones and Faces, but you can hear both of those bands, the DNA of those bands, still quite transformed in the songs on Rock and Roll Over. You get a sticker, a disgustingly contrived, transparent questionnaire. So as Gene, Paul, Ace, and the Cat Geezer can give you more of what you want next time. Absolutely. There's a whole ordering form thing in here. Kiss wants to know about you. How old are you? How did you find out about this album? Next stop, Kiss get elected to Jimmy Carter's House of Un-American Activities, under 12 division. There you go. Reference to good old Jimmy Carter, who we sadly lost a little while ago. One of the great American presidents after his presidency, right? Which shows that his heart was always in the right place. Under 12 division. This probably is, Love Gun is pretty, aimed at a lower aged audience as well. But this is probably, if you think about it, this is probably the Kiss album that's aimed at the lowest age audience of all of them, right? Kind of an idea. They aren't that stupid either, and they take off the makeup and don the sneakers. Kiss like to get smashed. After they take off the makeup and don the sneakers, Kiss like to get smashed. Okay, got it. Last time over here, Ace, good name, Frehley, was so far removed from his natural box he could hardly stand up. Wow. Best ripoff is a piss take on Rod Stewart, Hard Luck Woman, which is superb. Okay, so now Max is like considering Hard Luck Woman, with the obvious Rod Stewart sort of sound to it, as the best song on the album. So here he is, betraying his snooty British rock roots, and says, Kiss is only good when they sound like Rod Stewart. Maybe I'm pushing a little far there, but that's kind of what I get out of that. This is the nastiest album Kiss has ever made, and it's cool. And if it's cool to like Thin Lizzy, I'm keeping one step ahead with this. Okay. Good to see the true spirit of unashamed idiocy lives on. Don't just stand there, rock and roll over or something. Kind of a neat way to end it, because this is, Kiss definitely is a band that is doing an intentional type of idiocy, right? They know they're playing down. They're playing, they're essentially playing even below their own abilities, at least below Gene's and Paul's abilities. Probably below Ace's abilities. Peter, Chris, I don't know. We've heard lots of stories about recording Peter's drums and how hard that is, right? So maybe we won't quite go there. But yeah, that's kind of cool. Don't just stand there, rock and roll over or something. Max Bell. And then in brackets, it says there are no plans to release this album in the UK at the moment, since Casablanca have severed their UK distribution deal with EMI. All right. Interesting. So there you go. This has been another Reliving Old Reviews is a useless tool of confusion. Let us know whether Max, Max. Yeah, Max. Let us know whether Max Bell got this review right. And please like and subscribe if you can. I write a bunch of heavy metal rock books. Do I still have Kiss at 50? My fairly recent Kiss at 50 book. I think I can still supply that. Yeah, I can. MartinPopoff.com. There are PayPal buttons there. I sign them, send them out from my office here in Toronto. Check out my audio podcast as well. History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff, and the one I do with John Gaffney, Kicked in the Teeth and AC/DC podcast. And like I say, eventually there will be another book from me called Kiss 76. Talk to you later. Go listen to some rock and roll.